Oh, there's the birthday girl. What's up, queen? Okay. Let me know, Jesse, when we're good.
Go ahead, you're good.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm gonna call this special board meeting and open workshop to order. We have a couple of minutes to approve first. I move to approve the minutes from the special meeting in open session dated February 13th, 2023.
Second, fine.
All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes, aye. All right. What was that? All right, 4-0. All right, next. I move to approve the minutes from the special meeting and open session dated March 2nd, 2023.
Second.
All right, all those in favor of approving those minutes, aye. 4-0. I move to approve the minutes from the special meeting in open session dated March 15th, 2023.
Second, fine.
All right, all those in favor of approving those minutes from March 15th, aye. All right, passes 4-0. All right, our main action item is to amend the contract for our human resources support work with Dr. Linda Anderson. I move that the Board of Education approve an additional total expenditure not to exceed $122,737 for human resources support work provided by Dr. Linda Anderson using funding from the fiscal year 23 district-wide operations budget. Can I get a second?
Second, for the sake of discussion.
All right, second. Discussion, any discussion on this amendment?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got kicked off. Can you tell me the amount?
Yes, the amount is for an expenditure not to exceed $122,737.
Is that in addition to the amount already approved by the board? Or is
No,
that
Total. It's
So this would
additional.
be increasing the original board approved amount by $28,000.
how much time is that supposed to take to go through that additional $28,000?
This would take us to June 30th, 2023. And I think it looks like it goes, I don't know if this is correct, back to April 3rd. I see
I
the
think just
project
'cause it's a
schedule says April.
continuation.
I'm sorry.
I think it's because it's an amendment to the original, so that's like where the original started.
Oh, I'm sorry. In the first project description, it says, this work will take place May 11th to June 30th.
Can I ask, and this is my last question, and then I'll vote in case I get kicked off, but why are we voting on this today versus at the regular board meeting, in order to make sure board members are briefed on why we're doing this adjustment?
Yes, so the reason why we're doing this today is that we were alerted that Dr. Anderson had already used all of the hours that we approved when we last looked at her contract. And originally, she had proposed that last contract that we approved. She had proposed that she would work like 3 days a week. And then also come into town and do some direct work with the HR department in person, like 1 week a month. There's been so much work to do in HR that she's been working well beyond 3 days a week. She's basically working like full-time hours. And has also been in person to work with HR. And so my understanding is that she was already out of hours. And in order for us to move forward with next week's CFO interviews and to keep the work moving, we needed to amend this contract and try to do it sooner than waiting until the 22nd.
Thank you so much for that explanation. I guess I'll explain my vote by saying I really hope that this is tied to a long-term strategy to staff and strengthen HR. Because I don't know if we can continue to kind of piecemeal our approach to something that's so incredibly important. That is not a criticism of her work. I want to thank her for stepping in at this time. And I think it's hard to talk about an individual when you're talking about a department like HR. But I think we really have to, be mindful of the fact that this is contract time, that there's a lot of relationships and stewardship that's at stake right now. And we need to have as much stability in the short term as we possibly can while focusing on overall strength in the long term. With that being said, I vote in favor of the increased amount.
Thank you, Board Member Muldrow. Board Member Mosner Felta.
Thanks. I agree that the work I've seen so far from Dr. Anderson has been really good, but it disturbs me, it upsets me that this will be the second amendment to add like mega money in my opinion, right? Like 20 grand is a lot. So is the 20 grand from a few months ago. The original contract included support for special projects and human resources. I want to know if the initial like professional development for associate soups is still going, or if that has stopped in favor of the HR stuff. And then the last thing that I would say about it is the March 21st amendment goes till May 31st. And I think about peeps who work in schools, right? When the work gets to be too much, I'm working more hours than I signed up for, just keep going. I mean, and I don't mean to say that people should, right? And I support the MTI employees who are working to contract this week because the work is so much more than what people are contracted to do. And so the sort of like cognitive dissonance of that is hard for me. So I guess I had two questions there, which I know we can't answer today. One is that initial work for $75,000 supporting the associate soups to themselves support the principals? Is that stopped, or is that still, are we still paying for that? Is she billing for that separately? I don't really know. And then just my comment about how jarring it is to have this argument come in front of me in the same context or in the same moment when school staff are constantly working over their contract hours. Thanks. That's all.
Any other discussion? All right, well, I will just offer that I appreciate what Board Member Muldrow was saying around us really needing a long-term strategy. That obviously we're in a position where we are having to use a consultant like Dr. Anderson to really pull our human resources together. And to me, that seems like a kind of a short-term, urgent, necessary action, and it's not the long term. But I do think that her what she brings to our district and the department right now is going to help us get there much sooner. And for me, I think the alternative is if we don't renew the contract at this point, I'm not sure what work is moving forward in the way that we need it to. So I would encourage each board member, when we have board briefings next week, to also get a better snapshot of how HR is going. I know when Maya and I met with Dr. Jenkins earlier this week, we did have an opportunity to hear directly from Dr. Anderson and some of the work that she's been doing. And I think that that would be good information for board members to have as well. With that, and with no further discussion, I guess I will call the question. So all those in favor of amending the contract as stated in board docs, aye.
Aye.
All right, that looks like 4. Those opposed?
Hi, nay, sorry.
No, 1. All right, so that passes 4-1. All right, thank you all for coming together on this Thursday evening. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right.
Seconded. It's my first official
Hey,
one.
all right. All right, all those in favor of adjourning,
Thank you.
thank you all. Have a good Thursday.